I genuinely think that Python is one of those skills that if you actually learn well, can actually transform your career completely. Python is used in a lot of different domains. And if you master this particular skill well, then you are already doing the right thing. But the problem with a lot of people is that they watch probably a 10-hour long one-shot Python video. And then they try to just memorize the syntax, watch somebody else writing in front of you, and then write the same to same code on your coder pad. And then let's say if by any chance you have a blank file and you have to start a project from scratch, then you start getting thoughts like, okay, what to do? How should I proceed? And after some time, you are in a mode where you are like, maybe coding is not for me. So in this particular video, I'll try to help you that if you are a beginner and you want to excel Python and want to start learning Python, how you can actually proceed. Why you will be able to relate to this particular video is that I also learned Python as my first language in school. And trust me, I struggled a lot because I was not having the right guidance or the right path to actually move forward. So this video will give you kind of like a good set of advices and good set of pointers that you can actually follow in your journey to learn Python. So without any further ado, let's just start. But before starting the video, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we are going to put some really awesome content coming up ahead. So let's just start.
So before moving forward in the video, if you are somebody who wants to learn the concept of AI engineering and actually make a career in the same field, then you are actually at the right place. Algocamp has launched its first AI engineering cohort in which you will be able to learn state-of-the-art patterns on how to make these real-world production-grade ready AI applications. You will learn all the concepts from beginner to advanced, starting from basics of LLMs, understanding GPT's API or let's say Claude's API, how you can actually set up RAGs in production, how you can make your own AI agents with a lot of interesting projects as well. You will be making projects including making your own code reviewing agent, making your own RAG pipeline which will be able to handle long running tasks as well and whatnot. I list all of the projects here and you can pause the video and check out all of them. This particular cohort will also help you understand behind the scenes of an LLM so that you can understand how the LLM actually works, the neural network architecture, the transformers architecture, what was actually running before LLMs like RNNs and LSTMs. All of these concepts of deep learning also we will be actually covering. This particular cohort has been actually made sure that if you are somebody who knows nothing about AI engineering and wants to start your career in AI engineering, you will be able to actually do that. We will provide all of the required fundamentals including Python, basics of Python, fast API, Docker, GitHub and everything which will help you to start your learning as fast as possible. If you are somebody who is actually looking for a more structured way to learn AI engineering with people who are actually building these products in production, do check out the link in the description section below and don't forget to use this particular coupon code to get massive discount on the price. So let's get back to the video.
Firstly, a lot of people actually think why they should learn Python. A lot of people think that nowadays AI can write most of the code. So what is the actual sense of learning a programming language like Python? First of all, as a software engineer, I believe it is mandatory for everybody to know at least one programming language. So that even if you are writing code in some other language, you are able to correlate around what is actually getting written. Now, as a software engineer, of course, the part of writing code can be handled by AI. But what code it is actually writing, you have to still improve it. Because most of the time, AI will not be taking some critical decisions in terms of engineering design or business requirement right away on top. You have to actually guide it, you have to actually review it and make it understand what is going on. Now, if you're somebody who knows Python well, will be able to actually review all of this code and will be able to actually point out what are some of the problems going on. And apart from just learning Python, of course, knowledge of system design and how you can build scalable applications is going to be very important. But once you know Python and once you also have the capability of AI writing code for you, you can actually go even deeper, right? Let's say you are building some AI applications, you can start improving things on top, right? You can make AI write code of, let's say, a RAG for you, or maybe you can try to make your own MCP server, and then you can actually review the code and add things on top. This will actually make you a more holistic software engineer. That's why knowledge of a programming language as good as like something like Python is very important. Plus, if you will learn Python, it will open you all the gates for, I would say, you can actually start setting up a backend server, a REST API, gRPC server, whatnot. You can actually make AI driven application, AI engineering applications on top of existing LLMs, right? You can make RAGs and you can actually scale them up as well. Apart from this, in a lot of infrastructure requirement and a lot of infrastructure as code as well, you'll be able to use a lot of Python scripts in order to set up the infrastructure. So Python is actually everywhere, and learning Python is going to really help you a lot. Now, the problem with majority of the tutorials is that they actually start with the basic syntax of Python, loops, dictionary, tuples, and whatnot. But I believe you should first take a step back and try to understand where does your Python code actually sits, what it will be able to actually achieve, and try to visualize that first. Once you have an end goal that, okay, probably you'll be able to make something like XYZ, you will be able to reach there faster and the whole journey will be much more interesting. So let's say you're learning Python, you can actually make a backend server with it. Now try to understand what's a backend server, right? How two servers actually communicate, or a client and a server actually communicate. Let's say if you're into AI engineering, try to understand how exactly you can connect to an LLM server via some APIs, how you can actually build some RAGs. Have some basic understanding about all of these topics, and then see, okay, how using a Python code you're able to actually achieve all of this. This will make the overall learning much more faster and much more interactive as well. Now, I would recommend you to just pick one tutorial and try to actually follow this, because now you know where exactly your Python code actually sits and why you are actually learning Python. It starts making sense that you follow a more structured path. Now, I'm actually against of people following a lot of different resources and eventually end up finishing nothing. Completing one end-to-end resource will give your brain a particular idea that how exactly things work end-to-end. You can watch any particular YouTube video that, let's say, connects with you well, or let's say the instructor connects with you well, and try to finish it end-to-end. But wait, don't just copy-paste what they are actually doing. You have two approaches that you can follow from here. One, in general, for every particular topic, most of the instructors will introduce that what they are going to actually do. So I would say first try to maybe explore yourself, maybe Google up a bit, maybe GPT up a bit, and try to see what the syntax looks like, and first try it on your own. And once, let's say you are stuck, or let's say you have tried, then try to watch the video. Try to stay one step ahead of the tutorial so that you have also spent some time struggling in all of those concepts, and then you have a more smoother and structured, I would say, learning path also available to you. Or what you can actually do is, you can first watch the tutorial, and when you're trying to code, don't just blindly copy paste. Try to change some things altogether. For example, let's say if the instructor is making a call to a, let's say, e-commerce API, you can try to make a call to, let's say, some kind of like a crypto API, so that you have some new things to actually add on, you have some new things to actually struggle with. That will actually train your brain well. And along with this, once you have an end-to-end tutorial done where you know basics of Python and how you can actually use Python, I would say it's a good thing to actually practice all of these syntax and make some muscle memory. For this, you can actually follow some HackerRank or lead code problem solving, where you can follow, let's say, 30 to 40, 50 questions. I would say don't go beyond medium, right? Easy to easy medium questions, just for making sure that you have solidified the syntactical sugar of Python is going to be mostly enough. Now, once you're actually through with this, I would highly recommend you to think about a small product and try to make it. Let me explain this with my own example. So in college, the first backend technology that I was learning was Ruby on Rails. So my agenda was to make sure that once I have some basic concepts of Ruby on Rails ready, I wanted to make something similar to that of HackerRank, right? I was not having enough concept clarity about how exactly containers and all actually work, but I was able to find out a couple of APIs that I can actually hit for running code in their own containers. So I made sure that I have a full stack application ready, for which the code submission part can be actually handled by some third party. So at least I was having an idea, some project, some product in mind that I can actually make. You should try to do the same. This will help you to ensure that nobody else has actually made probably the similar thing. You have to start from scratch, probably from a bare minimum single file, and then build things on top. The amount of struggle and the amount of errors that you will actually face is going to give you immense amount of learning. And also, don't forget to actually keep kind of like an error journal if you are in the very starting phase of the things, because there is a good chance that similar type of error you will actually face again and again. So if you have a journal, let's say, you can try to maybe kind of keep it like a log, and then you can actually feed that log, let's say, to GPT or Claude. And if you will feed your new error, it will actually tell you that, okay, you have already faced it earlier, and this is the concept that you are actually missing. Then you can try to improve on your code. This is something that I would highly recommend you. Also, I would say try to code as much as possible. Use AI to actually get some idea, or let's say if you're forgetting some syntax, then it can help you with syntax. Apart from this, I won't say don't use too much of an AI, right? Like, for example, don't do autocomplete or don't do the agentic code writing, because then you will not build that muscle memory with you. But let's say if there is something which is out of your context zone, for example, front end is something that you don't know about and for now you're not learning, then for front end, maybe you can use some agentic capabilities and try to make a full-fledged front end for your particular application. So this is how I believe everybody should try and follow learning Python. Now, you might be thinking what kind of projects you can actually build. I would say start simple. Maybe something as simple as you are hitting the GitHub APIs to scrape somebody's repository or all the corresponding profiles and do some corresponding searches on top. Or something like a booking application that can help you to make sure that you're able to connect to a database and have some database related concepts like let's say concurrency, right? How you can actually write to a database, caching, and so on. Or you can try to make some more complex applications once you are more confident. Maybe you can build something like a TopMate or Calendly where you can have more bookings and scheduling, kind of like a concept that, let's say, if somebody books somebody else's slot, then they will also get, let's say, a calendar invite. They will also get a meet link, right? And they will also get an email and so on and so forth. All of these different workflows you can try to build. If you want to make things more complex, you can try to also make some AI-driven application. Maybe you can make your own RAG altogether, or let's say you can try to make something like a Perplexity, kind of like a clone, and you can try to learn about more AI engineering concepts. These are some real-world projects that will help you to understand things right from the basic. And I would say try to use AI, as I already said, but don't just make it write code for you. Try to use it as a reference whenever you are actually blocked. Now, one final note before I actually close the video. There is one important skill that I believe as a software engineer you should definitely not miss. That is the art of debugging. If you are able to debug your own code, or maybe let's say even help others, then your overall software engineering capabilities are going to actually improve drastically. Trust me on this, if you are a software engineer who can actually look at a stack trace and understand what is actually failing, you are already in the top 10% of the whole software engineering pipeline, right? So try to understand why your code is failing first yourself. Try to get the capability of reading logs, reading stack traces, searching for it a bit. Maybe you can use tools, but don't just give this complete task or delegate this complete task to AI. That's what a lot of new software engineers are actually lacking. And if you're able to build this debugging related skills, you'll be definitely excelling a lot. And all of the projects that you are going to actually make, you'll actually remember what were the things that were blocking you or what were the things that were actually challenging. Also, once you make all of these projects, don't forget to actually showcase them on GitHub, write some good readmes, and try to actually tell people that what you are learning. Learning in public is a great thing. You should definitely try to do that. So, those are all the important things I believe you should keep in mind when you are actually learning Python. Don't go the traditional way where you are just learning oops in the form of, let's say, what's a vehicle? Vehicle has a different types. Don't go with this particular kind of like an approach. Go with the approach where you actually see an end application, something like Amazon, something like Flipkart, and try to derive your motivation out of that. This will keep you motivated for long and will help you learn real engineering skills. So let me know your thoughts, what you are doing in order to learn Python, or let's say if you're learning any other language, what are some of the interesting things that you actually came up to? Also, if you have any questions around Python, or let's say how you would like to excel in AI engineering, do let me know in the comment section below. I would be happy to answer all of your questions. That being said, let's wrap this particular video here. We're going to meet soon in the next set of videos. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. I'm Sanket Singh, signing off.